Hi guys, today we are here on lesson 6. So, the topic today is biographical commentary. We have here some definition about biographical commentary. It's a formal literal analysis that focuses on the life and experiences of an author as a means of interpreting their work. The connection between another lives and your literary creations aiming to provide a deeper understanding of the text by considering the personal, cultural, and historical context in which it was produced. Of course, this involves examining author life and experiences to gain insights into the motivations, influences, and circumstances that may have shaped their writing. It operates on the premise that another personal life can impact the creative work and that understanding this connection enhances the interpretation of their literary output. So then we have some types of biographical commentary. We have the author-centric biographical commentary, the character-centric biographical commentary, and the period-centric biographical commentary. In the first one, it focuses primarily on the author's life, exploring how personal experiences, relationships, and events are reflected in their writing. So, short words is more the author life. Number two talks about analyzing specific characters within a work in relation to the author's life, seeking parallels or symbolic connections. In short words, is when you project your work, your life in your work, basically. Well, let's go to the third one. We have the period-centric biographical commentary that examining how an author's work is influenced by the historical and cultural context of the time in which they live. This is the most used in this these types. Actually, we have an example over here. Well, let's go to the next point. Functions. Why is it used for? It's used for contextualization. Cause provides a framework for understanding authors' work within the broader context of their life, helping readers grasp influences that may have shaped their writing. Number two, we have interpretation. Cause offers lens through which readers can interpret the motivation behind certain themes, characters, or plot elements in work. Number three, critical analysis. Biographical commentary adds depth to literary criticism by incorporating the author's personal history, allowing for a more nuanced evaluation of their contribution to literature. So when you think about function of a biographical commentary, think about why we use the biographical commentary. So why? Because of this. Right. Let's talk about the key features. Important feature, let's say, number one, life events. Examining significant events in the author's life that may have influenced their writing. This is the more important. Then we have relationship, exploring the impact of personal relationships on the author's work, including friendships, family dynamics, and romantic connection. Number three, historical context. consider the historical, cultural, and social in which the author lived and how it manifests in the literature creations. So this is the key features that we have to take account when we are to going to write a biographical commentary. So we have here an example. This is a biographical commentary on Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou, 1928 2014, was one of the most renowned and influential voices of the 20th century. She was born as Margaret Ann Johnson in St. Louis, Missouri. She led a tumultuous life marked by profound resilience in overcoming trauma and adversity. Her seminal autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, clearly depicted her childhood of poverty, racism, and sexual abuse. Yet from these harrowing experiences, Angela cultivated a philosophy of hope, courage, and truth-telling. As a young adult, Angela embarked on a vibrant career as a singer, dancer, actress, and activist. Her advocacy and advocacy intersected during the civil rights movement when she worked closely with both Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Angela had voice to the struggle for racial equality through powerful poetry and prose that celebrated black culture and womanhood. Her stirring public recitation of "One the Pulse of Morning" at Bill Clinton's 1993 presidential inauguration cemented her as an indispensable American artist. Despite achieving international fame, Angela remained grounded by profound introspection and a lifelong commitment to education. Her writings reveal a layered inner life where longing, pain, and triumph commingle. By openly sharing her truth, she inspired countless individuals to embrace their flaws, love themselves fully, and use the symbolic cage bird's voice to soar beyond societal constraint. Angel's greatest legacy became of leading the dignity and resilience of human spirit through the sheer softness of her lived experience given literature form. So this example have all the features, life events, relationships. In this case, speaking about relationships, it doesn't talk about her family, but talk a little about some events of her childhood, for example, tragic events. Historical context: she was a very known artist, an activist, and the type, this could be a pure centric biographical commentary. This is a type of, for example, here. Well, now let's talk about biographical commentary, but in other words. In other words, biographical commentary is usually called biographical criticism. I talked about this type of synonym in previous lesson. So if you don't remember, please check a take a look take a look of our previous videos. Right, so biographical criticism is a form of literary criticism which analyzes a writer's biography to show the relationship between the author's life and the works of literature. The goal of biographical criticism is understanding why the author wrote what he or she wrote. So, why? This is the question. We have three benefits of biographical criticism. Number one, facts about an author's experience can help a reader decide how to interpret a text. Number two, a reader can better appreciate a text by knowing a reader's struggles or difficulties in creating that text. Number three, a reader can understand a writer's preoccupation by studying the way they apply and modify their own life experiences in their works. So these were three benefits of biographical criticism. So guys, biographical criticism and biographical commentary is the same. I'm just showing this kind of information. Everything is important, but it's the same. At the end, it's the same. So we have here important question for a biographical criticism. For example, in understanding the author, you can ask, what facts about the author life suggest idea the work? Did anything that happened to the author affect his or her themes or choice of subject matter? What was in the author worldview? Which of the author's beliefs seem reflected in your story? What commentary in the story did the author make? Does it point to ideas in the story? Understanding the author's world. What worldview was typical of the author's time? What aspect of this world view seem prevalent in the story or character? Does the author seem to accept or rebel against the worldview? How did people respond to the author's work and life? What ideas did people find in the author's work and life? We have here another example of an author's life experiences shaping his writing. In this case, it's in his work. For example, Tim O'Brien is the author of The Things They Carried by L. O'Brien. We have here some personal facts. Born October 1st in 1946, grew up in Minnesota. Political views were against the Vietnam War, drafted into Army in 1968, served from 1968 to 1970 as an infantry foot soldier. We have his sketch. The book The story takes place in Vietnam. It details the burdens that infantry soldiers carried, both physically and mentally. In an extended novel released in 1990, O'Brien gives the narrator his own name. The story is fictional even though it sounds true. Verisimilitude. The story paints a devastating picture of Vietnam War. Now we have some checklists of questions. This could be very helpful. What influences, person, idea, movement, events, evident in writer's life does the work reflect? To what extent are the events described in the work a lyrics transfer or what happened in the author's actual life? What modification of the actual event has the writer made in the later work, or for what possible purposes? Why might the writer have altered his or her actual experience in the literal work? What are the effects of the differences between actual events and the literal transformation in the work? And what has the author revealed in the work about his or her characteristic model of thought, perception, or emotion? What place does the work have in the author's literary development and career? Don't forget these questions because they're very helpful to make a biography criticism or commentary. So now we watch some videos speaking about the importance of biographical criticism or commentary and summarizing everything what we've been talking about. Okay?
Biographical criticism is a literary analysis in which an author's life and background connection between characteristics that originated from the author's experiences. This type of critique focuses on personal factors such as marriages, family funerals, health issues, and traumatic occurrences, as well as the author's generation, economic standing, and the degree of education. There are many additional things to consider, but for now, we'll concentrate on the great author Francis Scott Fitzgerald's generation, economics, education, and marriage.
To use a biographical approach in literary criticism, you need to learn about the writer's biography or life story, research facts about the writer, including interviews, quotations, heritage, background, traditions, attitudes, and beliefs. Here are some tips for using a biographical approach in literary criticism. 1. Do not assume that a fictional character, especially one who narrates the story and speaks as I is the writer. 2. Check a biography. When you wonder if something in a work reflects the writer's heritage or background, check a biography of the writer to be sure your hunch is correct. 3. Be specific in citing connections between the work and the writer's life. Don't assume that because the main characters in the writer's work tend to be rebels or outsiders, the writer must be a rebel. Sometimes, writers like to write about the kind of people they wish they had been. And number 4, do not ignore the part played by the writer's imagination. Do not assume that every realistic details in the story is based on fact. A good writer doesn't have to be a man in order to write about male characters, nor a police officer to write about crime.
To begin, well, look at Fitzgerald's youth. Through the lens, one of his works, The Great Gatsby. Fitzgerald came from a lower-class family and grew up in a humble home. This is similar to Gatsby's experience growing up with a father figure who struggled to make ends meet. Fitzgerald and Gatsby both dropped out of college and enlisted in the military.
3rd Division during the war? Oh yes, the 9th Battalion. I was in the 7th.
Excuse me, I knew you looked familiar. Having a good time, old sport?
Oh, the whole thing's incredible. I live just next door. He sent me an actual invitation. Seems I'm the only one. I still haven't met Mr. Gatsby. No one's met him. They say he's 3rd cousin to the Kaiser and 2nd cousin to the devil.
I'm afraid I haven't been a very good host, old sport. You see, I'm Gatsby.
Fitzgerald also uses his background in the story by saying Nick Carraway came from Minnesota, which happens to be where Fitzgerald is from. Fitzgerald and Nick Carraway also both attended an Ivy League. Nick Carraway going to Yale University while Fitzgerald went to Princeton University. Although they both went to an Ivy League, then ended up dropping out and going to the military.
Scotty Fitzgerald grew up amid the Roaring Twenties, which plays an important role in The Great Gatsby. Because the 1920s were such a wild era, the novel has several parties throughout the plot. Fitzgerald's most significant life events occurred in the 1920s, including his marriage to Zelda and the birth of Scotty Fitzgerald, and the publishing of The Beautiful and Dumb and The Great Gatsby.
Let's take a moment to think about this. Consider a recent work of literature that you enjoyed. Do you have any information about the author? Have you examined the author's connection with his parents? And what about his siblings? What about extended family members? Were there any notable acquaintances or pals in the author's life as well? Have you considered what inspired them to create and publish their works? Were there any noteworthy incidents that may have had an impact on their lives? This kind of inquiries might assist you in constructing your response to a biographical critic prompt.